welcome back to the channel to this comparison between two Titan watches, a duel of the Titans if you will. Ever since I got this watch on the left here, this is my Seiko Shogun SBDC029 titanium diver. I have thought, I'm going to do a comparison with this Steinhart because, they're both kind of in a similar vein in that they are both titanium divers. So this one I reviewed not so long ago. And then on the right here, I have, of course, my Steinhart Titanium Ocean 500 GMT, a really favorite watch of mine, something that I've, given a lot of wrist time. I reviewed this, I think sometime last year, actually, quite a while back, but this has been one of the most popular videos, lots of hits now and some, really good times I've had with this on my wrist. So, these are the two watches I have here for review. So I think they are two very nicely done titanium dive watches. They both, of course, have screw-in case backs. Just show you quickly. The diver on the right side has a display case back for that elaborated movement of the Steinhart. Right, they both have, of course, screw-in crowns for 200 or more water-resistant rating. In fact, the Steinhart 500, of course, has 500 meter rating. Both have unidirectional style dive bezels, and they both have very good lume applications. This one's Lumi Bright, this one is Super Luminova. One Japanese, one Swiss German, one is a lot newer than the very established name of Seiko. Let's see how they fare. So just straight up, I'll mention the actual retail price. Roughly 900 is what you're going to be able to obtain this watch for, versus direct from Steinhart is around 750 USD. I suppose you may say that the Steinhart Ocean Titanium 500 without GMT would be a more direct comparison, but I've chosen to use this one, and this is the piece I have available. I think this one actually is overall better looking. 750 USD. If you chose the three-handed non-GMT, it's about 690 USD. So that's a substantial price difference between these two watches. So without further ado, let's get into the categorical comparisons here. So first up is the Calibre. Now, I think there's no controversy here. The Shogun has the 6R15. Now, that's a very good movement. It is actually a higher grade movement than the 4R35, for example. It's got a higher reserve, and certainly it has a higher reserve than the ETA in the Steinhart, roughly 50 hours versus about 40 hours. But I think you got to give it to the ETA 2824-2 in the Steinhart, which is elaborated grade, superbly regulated to about +1 second a day. So the Shogun, my Shogun is very well regulated, about +3, but this is even better. And with elaborated grade, you're going to expect tight regulation. It's supposed to be within ±7, and this definitely is. With the 2800 beat per hour, faster rating as well, Swiss made, you have to give it to the elaborated grade movement of the Steinhart. I think 9 versus 8 is the mark I've given here. Okay, next up, design. Now, I think they are both functionally very good purpose design dive style watches. I guess the handset, the bezel, style that they've gone for, the overall face design, lume, visibility, they are both very good, and they've got, very solid case designs, titanium for the very high durability. I can't separate them. I think they're both very well designed, and I've given 8 out of 10 for both the Seiko and the Steinhart in this category. Moving on then. Okay, quality. Okay, so I think there's also a separation here. Right, the case finishing on the Shogun I think is marginally better. As I look at it closely, this dia shield really makes it luster in a different way. They have actually managed to achieve an almost steel-like appearance on this titanium as well. So I think the case finishing is better on the Seiko, but that's marginal. I think overall the Steinhart has a better bezel. I think bezel feel wise, it's just more solid, much more confident. The Seiko is almost loose in comparison. I think it's got a far better bracelet, and that's not saying too much because Seiko is actually a very low bar to jump, but it's got screw links, a lot more solid, I think, and even the this part here of the actual clasp in comparison to the Seiko is more solid. And let me just show you what I mean. So Seiko, a lot more I guess pressed metal feel about it. I mean, if you look at that, that's a lot more thin and easy to bend even, I think, if you grab that with your hand. So I think definitely far better bracelet on the Steinhart, and because of those features, I'm going to give the quality edge to the Steinhart here. So the mark I've given here is 8 versus 7 in the quality stakes. Moving on then, okay, style. What can I say about this? Look, this is subjective. I think the Shogun is just somewhat more balanced overall. Okay, the bezel is a little bit finer. It's not as thick in terms of the width, so it's actually got a bigger face. I really like just the balance, the case shape, the markers style that they've chosen with the handset. I really like this. I think that's really quite excellent, and why I love that watch so much. But the Steinhart GMT, I have to give it a good mark as well. It's a very cool, more original look from Steinhart. Steinhart, they do tend to do a lot of Rolex homages. A lot of their early watches were Rolex Submariner homages. This one actually just branches out a little bit more on its own. I think it takes a little bit from Tudor, I suppose, if you are familiar with Tudor. But there is no watch that really looks so much like this. Yes, it's a Batman bezel, but other brands have done Batman bezels. I really like this, and I've given it a high mark as well. So this, style wise, I like both of these. 8 out of 10 for both. Okay, performance. Another separation here. I think they're both solid. This one wins in the lume stakes. I think the Lumibright does work somewhat better than the superluminous application of the Steinhart, and that's partly a function of the amount, right? And it's very generous. It certainly works no problem through the night. This one does work through the night as well, but I think it's not quite as bright as the Lumibright of the Seiko. On the other hand, the Steinhart does have better bezel feel. That's something I've said already. So I think the bezel function, performance-wise, is better. It does have the 500-meter rating, and no doubt it is tested appropriately to that by this company. Yes, the Seiko is ISO 6425 to 200 meters, but this one does have 500, and is overall also more accurate in the regulation of this movement, and a more superior movement. I think you have to give the slight performance edge to the Steinhart here. So I've given it 9 versus 8 on the performance mark. Moving on then. Okay, versatility. I think this one has to be given to the Shogun, right? So this one is actually 43mm versus 42. It is actually slightly bigger, but it is that much quieter, It's black and white, really, effectively, this watch. Whereas if you look at the Steinhart, it's got those bright colors, right? It's got the blue in various locations in the dial, as well as that bright bezel, and also with that titanium gray. It's just that much more standout to I guess in more formal situations than I guess just the cold steel look of this. Even though they're both titanium, this one has a more gray look. You certainly wouldn't wear a PVD watch. Wouldn't be so suitable for more formal occasions. So I've knocked a mark off the Steinhart here. So for versatility, say 8 versus 7. I think you gotta give the mark to the Shogun here. Okay, moving on then to durability then. Okay, this one, it's been quite difficult. I think is a tough call. The Steinhart does have sapphire for the glass as well as ceramic for the bezel insert. But arguably the metal insert of the Seiko as well as the mirror glass is more suitable for a proper tool watch. So these are less prone to shatter. You can theoretically shatter sapphire and ceramic. So in terms of a proper tool, if you're going to be rough with it, You could argue that's a better choice here. But overall, you know, of course, sapphire and ceramic aren't going to scratch, whereas in lesser use, the mineral glass and the metal can scratch. And certainly I've seen examples of these being scratched up, whereas sapphire, you know, you're really going to struggle to put any scratches at all. And I've got many watches with glass which is absolutely pristine, many years old, because it is sapphire, and that's the characteristic of it. So you know which is more durable. I guess you could argue either way, because they have those material differences. They're both titanium, which is a very durable metal. I couldn't separate them. I've just chosen to give 8 out of 10 for both. You may disagree, and I suspect some people will. Let me know what you think about this particular mark, especially. Okay, moving on, value. Okay, so I think at over $150 cheaper than the Shogun, the Steinhart GMT has to take the value stakes here. You're getting a Swiss movement at a 2824, which is, you know, really a better movement, I think, without doubt. You're getting sapphire crystal, you're getting a ceramic inclusion, you're getting a GMT function. I think there's no doubt you're going to give the value stakes to Steinhart. Yes, it is less known as a brand, but for what they give you, no doubt the value is really very good, almost unparalleled here. And I've given 8 out of 10 for the Steinhart. I've given 6 out of 10 for the Seiko. It is actually quite pricey for what you're getting, you know, with no ceramic, no sapphire, a 28/1600 beat per hour movement. Yes, it's a 6R15, but you know, that's still what it is. What are you paying for? I think a lot of it is actually the style and the name of Seiko, you know, for 900 USD or more that you're going to buy this for. So, you know, I've knocked a few marks off for value on the Seiko here. 6 versus 8. All right, nearly there, guys. Brand. Okay, so I think Seiko need no introduction, right? It's very well established, you know, over 100 years old. Lots of contribution to the world of horology. First quartz, I believe, was developed by Seiko, and then so much, you know, class, design, audacity that they go for, you know, lots of original stuff. The name of Seiko is ubiquitous and it's world famous. It's a household name. I don't think you need to say any more about Seiko. 8 out of 10 for that. Steinhart, look, you know, some people want me to give a very low mark for Steinhart because of what they are, meaning they're very new and they originally started with kind of homage, or some people call copy designs. But look, I think seriously, they are a proper player. They're very fair. They do a very good job, and I think they have, you know, been quite successful and quite liked. They really put up some very nice pieces. So I'm going to give them no lower than a 6 out of 10, even though they are so new in the world of horology. They're almost babies, you know, in comparison. 6 out of 10 for Steinhart, 8 out of 10 for the name of Seiko. Okay, last one, guys. X Factor. Okay, hopefully this is not controversial and no surprise here. Look, I think the Seiko design, the die shield finishing, right, the balance, the dial, the handset, the whole, you know, finish and package of this gives it the edge for me. This is a mini grail watch for me for all those reasons. You know, I really like the Steinhart, but I don't think it comes close in terms of overall sheer X factor. I've given 7 out of 10 versus 9 out of 10 for this particular category, which is again really quite subjective, but this is my view of these two watches. So guys, you've been adding it up along, and if you have, you'll know the scores. It is actually a tie, and I surprised myself actually, because I don't really add it up beforehand. So when I added up in the end, it was a bit surprising. I thought the Shogun may take it by 1 or 2 marks, but really this is a tie. So in summary, guys, 2 very good titanium dive watches, one Japanese from the Nobel House of Seiko, the other from the newer Swiss-German player Steinhart. I think the Shogun has better versatility. Certainly it's got the brand strength, and the allure overall wins the X Factor mark. The Steinhart, on the other hand, wins in, unquestionably, I think, the better caliber, better movement. It edges out on quality as well, and performance and best in class value. I think no doubt this is also better value overall. But they both have great design and style. You know, same marks for dirt and durability. They're both titanium, so they're tied on those points. And overall, it's a tie at 78 out of 100. So guys, let me know what you think about this comparison. I'm very keen to hear your thoughts on these two watches. Very popular, particularly the Seiko, but this one is no slouch either. The Steinhart, you know, it's proven to be a popular piece. Guys, if you enjoy my videos, do consider subscribing. I put out new content weekly, always aiming to be objective and unbiased about all things horology. Thank you again for sticking with me, and as always, I'll catch you next time.